This is NASA TV.
Good morning and welcome to the International Space Station Flight Control Room. I'm NASA's Shaniqua Vereen and you're watching live mission coverage for the NASA's SpaceX Crew-4 mission. We are currently awaiting Crew-4 to ingress or board Dragon Freedom for their return flight home. After waving off an attempt to undock due to bad weather 2 days in a row, October 13th and 14th, due to high winds in the splashdown zones, NASA and SpaceX managers met overnight for their latest weather briefing and decided to proceed today with an undocking of the Crew-4 crew from the International Space Station. We're looking at the undocking time of 10:35 a.m. Central Time, 11:35 a.m. Eastern Time. Additional weather briefing analysis will continue prior to the crew boarding the Crew Dragon Freedom for final pre-undocking preparations. Here we have a view inside Node 2 again. This is Crew-4 saying goodbye to their crewmates. We are currently awaiting all 4 crew members of Crew-4 to ingress or board Dragon Freedom for their return flight home.
On the big loop, contract.
Dragon Houston, we hear you loud and clear on the big loop. How us?
We have you loud and clear.
And this is SpaceX. We've got you loud and clear on the big loop. How us?
SpaceX, this is Freedom. We have you loud and clear. Great to hear you.
As its name suggests, Crew-4 is the 4th contracted astronaut mission that SpaceX has flown to the orbiting lab for NASA. It's one of 2 SpaceX flights currently at the International Space Station. Crew-5 arrived on October 6th, again staying about 6 months on the International Space Station for science and research.
Joe, we've got you on the big loop, ready to copy.
We are complete through most of suit donning. Wadi is still out of her seat. Suit donning is complete, but out of her seat, not strapped in, ready for hatch closure. And Samantha is not yet strapped in, ready to check that PPRV ISO valve, looking for a go for hatch closure.
And Dragon, you are go for hatch closure.
You go for hatch closure, so work.
We have a great view inside of Dragon, and we can see the hatch.
Freedom on the big loop for hatch closure.
Go for hatch closure.
As we were getting ready to close the hatch, Samantha just noticed that it looks like one of the hatch O-rings slipped out of the groove. So we'd like to push that in manually and then continue with hatch closure. Outer hatch seal.
And Dragon, concur with the action there. Push the seal back into the groove and continue with hatch closure.
We have hatch closure on Dragon confirmed, and we're looking for the APAS hatch to be closed on the International Space Station. Once all hatches are closed, a ground command will be sent to open valves on Dragon to begin depressurizing the vestibule, essentially venting the air inside and bringing it down close to vacuum. They'll pause at about 5 psi for a few minutes to allow temperatures inside the vestibule to stabilize before finishing the depress.
SpaceX on the big loop, you are go to jump into 4.011, tear the suits, but stand by 1 for pressurization.
Houston Station on 2 for hatch seal inspection. The Node 2 Zenith hatch seal is complete and no anomalies.
Houston copies.
Freedom, SpaceX on the big loop for timeline impacts and return to Earth plan.
We're on the big loop.
HL, we've got some time to talk here, so I want to walk through the plan for the next few hours and give you a chance to ask any questions you might have. First, we expect about 20 minutes remaining here on the vestibule leak check, complete around 1550. After that, we have some final vehicle reconfigurations prior to undock and are targeting 1600 for undock sequence start. How copy?
It's 1600 for undock sequence start.
Good copy. Some more words. After we undock, we are targeting Jacksonville as primary with Tallahassee as an alternate 24 hours later. And to get down to Jacksonville, we've got depart burns 1, 2, and 3, 1 prop waste burn, and then the deorbit burn. Expect all the events on your timeline through depart burn 3 to shift 30 minutes, but the prop waste burn and deorbit burn timing is accurate. How copy?
We copy all.
Continuing, latest forecast in Jacksonville shows winds averaging below 7 knots, shallow waves, no rain, great weather to land. Our recovery vessel Megan is on site, not tracking any issues. They're ready to get you out of the water. And I just got word from Rick on the boat. He said, see you soon.
Copy, good looking weather. Megan is on station and has no issues, and we are looking forward to seeing Rick's smile face.
And a few more words on timeline. After we undock, it's a bit of an expedited timeline to splash down. You're out of suits for less than 2 hours. I'm going to leave it up to y'all to manage suit stowage as appropriate. We're going to plan a PMC after depart burn 2, and I'll leave it up to you to take it or waive it at that time. How copy so far?
Copy, it's you're going to have shorter time out of suits. We'll manage the suit stowage and schedule PNC after depart burn 2.
Good copy. Continuing, manual control of cabin temperature is not going to work through 4.080 as we start to cool the vehicle prior to deorbit. And as a final note, I'm going to have you step into 4.700 now to get a head start on cabin configuration for the deorbit sequence. I've got 2 notes on that procedure. The first is that pre-chill is not necessary in section 1. Essentially skip that section. Second note, floater cam inspection not necessary in section 4. So similarly to suits, we'll be looking to you to manage cargo and have the cabin configured for entry prior to suit leak checks at 18:55. How copy?
Copy, we're stepping pre-chill and then step 4. We will not be getting the floater camera out, but we will be managing stowage and cargo prior to 18:55.
Good copy on all. And now a question for you. Do you have any questions for the team down here in Hawthorne?
I would like to know what the froyo of the day is.
And Freedom, we've got vanilla and orange guava sorbet here. I don't expect you'll make it here this week, but we'll see you soon here in Hawthorne.
Great. Sure appreciate it. We don't have any other questions. We're looking forward to seeing folks on the Megan.
Copy all, Freedom. We're looking forward to seeing you as well, and I'll be back with you shortly on vestibule leak check status.
My name is Kate Tice, and I'm the Quality Systems Engineering Manager here at SpaceX. Joining me today from NASA Communications is Sandra Jones. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Kate. It's great to be here. So once Dragon departs station, the crew's flight home is expected to last around 5 hours. Upon separation from station, Dragon will use its Draco engines to thrust away from the station in a series of carefully choreographed maneuvers.
Which you see a couple of those thruster ports there on your screen. It'll use those Draco engines to thrust away from the station in a series of carefully choreographed maneuvers or 4 departure burns to increase the distance between the spacecraft and the space station. From there, a phasing burn will place Dragon on a trajectory back to Earth.
And next on its trip is
Freedom, SpaceX on the big loop, vestibule leak check nominal, and we're going to step into residual depress imminently.
They've been on station for 170 days, actually, which is just shy of 6 months. They arrived on April 27th. So the crew has actually completed over 2,720 orbits of Earth during their time on station, and has traveled over 72 million miles cumulative, which is pretty crazy to think about. But I'm sure you're right. I bet there is some bittersweetness to it. Excited to see your family, but sad to be leaving this environment.
On the big loop, final reconfigurations for undock are complete and nominal. Houston and Hawthorne teams have pulled go for undock sequence start at 1600 and separation at 1605. Confirm visors down and crew are ready for undock and departure.
And SpaceX Freedom copies full to go for undock. Our visors are all secured closed, and we are ready for undock.
Copy all.
So we're expecting the call for the undocking sequence to begin in just moments from now.
Freedom, SpaceX on the big loop, undock sequence commanded.
And there you heard it.
Perfect timing, Sandra.
Appreciate it.
So live view there of the Dragon capsule. As we were talking a little bit before, those are the solar panels that you see there on the trunk portion of Dragon. We will, of course, be separating.
Freedom, SpaceX, umbilical demate, complete and nominal. Dragon, SpaceX on the big loop, all hooks open. And Dragon separation confirmed.
Thank you.
All 12 hooks now open. Hooks all open and release confirmed at 11:05 a.m. Central Time, while Dragon and the International Space Station flew 259 statute miles above the North Atlantic Ocean.
Freedom Station on the big loop. Station.
We're sad to see you go. We wish you Godspeed, safe re-entry and landing, and calm seas. We're going to miss you guys. We're thankful for your mentorship. Enjoy your time with your families.
For the good work station. It was an absolute pleasure and privilege to serve on the space station these past 6 months, and a joy to get to work with you all for the past couple of weeks. We know that you're going to continue to do amazing things on station. We look forward to seeing you back home as well.
And those were words from the crew on the ISS to the crew inside Dragon Freedom, giving them farewells as they head on their journey back to home on Earth.
And Freedom SpaceX on the big loop, depart burn 0 was nominal.
Copy.
And we are hearing that the burn is underway. So this burn is going to increase the initial opening rate between Crew Dragon and the space station. And as you mentioned, Kate, that this burn utilizes the service section Dracos.
Freedom SpaceX on the big loop, depart burn 1 nominal. At this time, you are go to doff suits per procedure 4.012 if desired. If you do take the suits off and stow them, we ask that you stow with visors closed. And finally, a reminder that the big loop will be deactivated following Dragon's exit from the approach ellipsoid.
Freedom copies, we are good to doff suits. When we stow them, we'll stow them with visors closed. And we will come off the big loop as we exit the ellipsoid.
Good copy.
Dragon is already about 175 meters away from the space station, and so the next major milestone that we're looking for is when Dragon exits the keep out sphere. That's that imaginary sphere or boundary 200 meters in radius around the space station. And it is one of several safety zones set up to govern visiting spacecraft, either arriving or departing the space station. But before moving into the keep out sphere, spacecraft have to be configured where they would not cross the imaginary boundary for at least 4 orbits, even if the spacecraft lost all maneuvering for some reason. So the vehicle is now about 207 meters away.
And Freedom SpaceX on the big loop to confirm cameras are external.
Freedom copies, cameras are external.
So that was SpaceX Core, which you see there. I'll saw moments.
Freedom departs the keep out ellipsoid. I want to just thank the Space Station program and all of our international partners for the incredible training and on-orbit support. It's been an incredible 6 months, and we're looking forward to getting home to our families. Thanks so much.
Sounded like some nice words there from Commander Chell Lindgren.
Freedom, we appreciate those kind words. We will miss you, and we look forward to seeing you back home. And ISS, the Dragon has exited the keep-out sphere.
And we are hearing confirmation that Crew-4 has
SpaceX
exited the approach ellipsoid. That was the next major milestone that we were looking towards.
It is on a 24-hour safe free drift trajectory.
There on your screen is SpaceX Core Jake Vendel.
And Freedom SpaceX, repeating my last, Dragon has exited the approach ellipsoid and is on a 24-hour safe free drift trajectory.
And SpaceX Freedom copies out of the approach ellipsoid and 24-hour free drift. Thanks.
Departure burn number 3 has started. This is an autonomous firing of the Draco thrusters on the Crew Dragon spacecraft. The crew is awake and monitoring. They were not the ones that sent the command, but are monitoring in the unlikely event that they need to take over. They're awake and they are donning their spacesuits.
Freedom SpaceX, depart burn 3 nominal. And I've got 2 more notes for you when ready to copy.
Okay, Freedom copies nominal depart 3 burn, and we're ready to copy.
Hey, Farmer, 2 notes. We are about to enable deorbit sequence and entry on the vehicle, and you'll see the flag go high in a minute. And second, we are handing over down here in Hawthorne. It's been an absolute pleasure working with you today, and we all wish you luck through deorbit. We are leaving you in the very capable hands of Arthur and the rest of Shift 2.
Hey, Freedom copies the deorbit sequence flag being enabled. It's been great working with you throughout the entire mission. We appreciate all the work you put into it. Greetings to Arthur and the next shift. We're really looking forward to the trip home, and I can't wait to be out there and see you guys in Hawthorne here in the near future.
Good words, and we'll see you soon.
Right.
Freedom, SpaceX, deorbit sequence start.
We see it.
And there we did hear the call out that the deorbit sequence start is underway. So next up, we'll be looking towards trunk separation here shortly. We should hear that call out here soon. Right now, the claw is where the umbilicals for power and telemetry from the trunk and its solar arrays are connected to the capsule. So we'll be looking for those to be disconnected, and then Dragon will be running exclusively on its battery power. And then after that, we'll see the trunk jettison, and that trunk jettison will harmlessly burn up in the Earth's atmosphere. It's not necessary for re-entry, so at that point, it will be just the small capsule, kind of like the one you see right behind us here. It'll look very similar to that as it re-enters the Earth's atmosphere.
Yeah, and actually jettisoning the trunk will expose the heat shield that's required for re-entry as Dragon reorients itself for splashdown.
Freedom, SpaceX, we see nominal trunk jettison.
So great news there. The trunk has been jettisoned, and it looks like everything performed as expected during that trunk separation. So with the telemetry, looking good, the nitrox system is now primed for cabin and suit cooling, and the heat shield is now exposed and ready for that atmospheric re-entry.
Okay, SpaceX Freedom, mid copy your trunk separation.
Copy, Freedom, we had a handover there, but just to confirm, we did see a nominal trunk jettison.
Freedom copies.
Hearing 10 seconds until the burn begins. And we do have confirmation that the deorbit burn has begun. This burn is expected to last about 17 minutes.
Freedom, SpaceX, deorbit burn complete, performance nominal, nose cone closure is initiated.
Freedom copies, nominal deorbit burn, glad to hear it, and nose cone closure initiated.
So in the background, Dragon is currently inhibiting those forward bulkhead Draco thrusters that we just used to complete the deorbit burn, ensuring it's safe to latch the nose cone shut for re-entry. Also, the vehicle has initiated the nitrox suit purge. This will help keep Chell, Bob, Jessica, and Samantha cool and comfortable during re-entry. And you do see that nose cone beginning to close here on your screen. At this point, that nose cone is closing and protecting the forward hatch for re-entry. Chell, Bob, Jessica, and Samantha are using their screens, as we mentioned, to monitor the locking of the nose cone, which is done by a set of hooks.
Freedom, SpaceX, nose cone secured for entry.
Freedom copies, we see it.
Freedom, SpaceX for entry briefing.
And Freedom, stand by.
Okay, Chell, I have no deltas from the previously briefed tablet timeline. Dragon systems are looking healthy and ready for entry, and we have no updates for splashdown. The recovery team is ready to support, and weather's looking good. How copy?
We copy all, Arthur. We're looking forward to splashdown and seeing the recovery forces. And SpaceX from Freedom, tablets and secure restraints are tightened and our visors are down. We are ready for entry.
And again, we are going to be entering that blackout communication period. But once we are on the other side of that, things will happen pretty quickly. The drogue chutes will deploy.
And SpaceX Freedom tablets are all secure.
SpaceX copies. Thank you, Freedom. And at this time, we're just over 5 minutes from predicted comm blackout. We will see you on the other side at 2049.
Continuing to get those views from the WB-57 of Crew Dragon as it continues to make its way closer and closer to splashdown.
Freedom, SpaceX, comm check.
And SpaceX, Freedom has the loud and clear, coming through 30 kilometers altitude.
Copy and concur. Expect automated chute deployment.
Freedom copies. We'll be monitoring.
And HEPS is converged. Expect nominal chute deployment altitude.
Freedom copies. Looking for nominal chute deployment.
Well, Jesse, it is absolutely phenomenal to hear from the crew on the other side of that communications blackout period. We are continuing to get these great views from the WB-57 high-altitude aircraft, providing that thermal imagery. We did even see the tail of entry of the vehicle, and it's just absolutely beautiful to see that.
Bracing for drones.
Corps here communicating with the crew, giving them a heads up that they should feel the drogue chutes deploying here shortly, followed by the main chutes just about a minute later. The drogue chutes do help to slow the vehicle down to about 350 miles per hour, whereas the main chutes will deploy, after the main chutes deploy, it will slow the vehicle down even more, and by the time that the vehicle splashes down, should be around 16 miles per hour. And there's those drogue chutes, and you can hear the crowd here very excited to see them deploy.
Drogue chute descent rate nominal and visual on 2 healthy drogues.
Freedom copies.
Very cool view of Dragon with the 2 drogue chutes. We are just anticipating the main chutes to deploy here shortly.
Main chute descent rate nominal, visual on 4 healthy mains.
Dragon is beginning to increase pressure in preparation for landing. And mission control, the mission control team here in Hawthorne is reporting the precise landing coordinates to the recovery team.
So we did get that confirmation on the main chutes.
600.
The crew is now 600 meters away from splashing down. We do expect splashdown in about 2 minutes from now.
Landing in water is simpler, therefore more reliable, and it provides more margin against unlikely parachute.
400 meters.
Copy, 4.
Provides more margin against unlikely parachute issues. We had to learn how to make Dragon waterproof. But once you do, it is a rinse, review, and reuse type of process. And we are just about a minute away from splashdown of the Dragon vehicle back onto planet Earth, and hearing good callouts of the altitude of Dragon as it's
at 200 meters. We're bracing for splashdown.
Copy, brace for splashdown.
And again, that descent rate is as expected here. Pretty soon we should be able to see the view of the ocean come into view as Crew Dragon Freedom with 4 astronauts on board prepares to splash down after spending 170 days in space after launching on April 27th.
Incredible view as the crowd goes wild for Crew-4. Welcome home. Welcome home, Crew-4. Great view watching Dragon splash down back on planet Earth. Now, as you can see on your screen, we have visual confirmation for splashdown of the Dragon spacecraft. Dragon Freedom has returned home, and NASA astronauts Chell, Bob, Jessica, and ES.
SpaceX Freedom, we are water operating and stable 1.
Copy, Freedom. We see stable 1. You are go for 4.800. And on behalf of SpaceX, welcome home. Thanks for flying SpaceX.
And SpaceX from Freedom, thank you for an incredible ride up to orbit and an incredible ride home. Glad to be back.